Video recording has started.
Hi, this video will be in audio only. I'm Melissa Powell and welcome to part 2 of my video on using the taskbar of Windows 10 with JAWS. My first video was cut off, so I do apologize for that, and this will be part 2. Now, in my previous video, in part 1, I started talking about using the taskbar of Windows 10 with JAWS, and I was talking about the start menu. So just to kind of do a little bit of a recap, to open the start menu, you would press the Windows key. And when you first open the start menu, you are placed in a search edit field where you can type what you would like to open, the name of an app or a file, and then you would use your up and down arrow keys to navigate through those results and press enter on the one that you would like to open. Now there are 3 lists in your start menu. So underneath your search box you have your apps list. And so if you press down arrow one time, you navigate into your apps list. And this is the list that displays all the apps or programs on your computer in alphabetical order from A to Z. And you would continue to press down arrow until you find the app that you want, and then you would press enter to open it. There is also a start list which contains your most used programs, so it would see recent programs, and it also contains your power options, and this is where you would go to restart and turn off your computer. And the next list that you would have is your tiles, and this is where we left off, and this is what I'm going to be talking about now. So to access the tiles list of your start menu, you would press your Windows key and tab until you locate the tiles list. When you press tab, you navigate in between the search box, your apps list, your tiles list, and your start options list. Each time you press tab, you will move to the next list. Each time you press shift tab, you will navigate to the previous list. So let's go ahead and get started on the tiles. Go ahead and open your start menu by pressing your Windows key and tab until you locate your tiles list. Now the tiles are squares, and there are a few different groups of tiles, and each group has a group header, and in the header is the name of the group, and then underneath the group header is where the tiles are located, and they are arranged in like a grid form, and they're little square tiles. In a newly created Windows 10 account, there are 3 groups. And the group names are Create, Play, and Explore. Now, the tiles menu, or the tiles list, has 2 columns. And the first column is the Play and Explore group. And the second column would have your just your Explore group. And so to navigate through these tiles, if the number of groups does not exceed the number of columns, then each group is placed in a separate column. However, if you have more groups than you do columns, the extra groups will be displayed at the bottom of the columns.
Shutter button. Press Alt plus Enter to activate. Press Alt plus Shift plus Enter to long press.
To change the number of columns, you can press Control right arrow and Control left arrow. And when you do this, you open up the Start menu. You make sure that your search box is in focus, and you press Control left or Control right arrow. Control right arrow would increase the number of columns in your tiles list, and Control left arrow would decrease the number by one number. So after you open the Start menu, you can move to your Pins Tiles list by pressing Tab until you locate the tiles. Or you can press up arrow one time and that will take you to the tiles list. And then you would press Tab one time. So you would press your up arrow and then Tab one time, and that will also take you to your tiles list. The focus will be placed in the group header or the group name of the first group. You can move around the tiles by pressing any of your arrow keys, because remember I said they're displayed in a grid form like your desktop, so you need to use your up, down, right, and left arrows, and each time you press one of your arrow keys, you will move to the next or previous tiles. So your down arrow will take you to the next tile, your up arrow will take you to the previous tile, your right arrow will take you to the next tile, and your left arrow would take you to the previous tile in the grid. If the number of groups does not exceed the number of columns, then you can move in between the groups by using left arrow as well as your right arrow, and this will take you from one group to another, but this is only if the number of groups does not exceed the number of columns. Within the group of pin tiles that you're in, you can use the JAWS commands to move around, and these are actually the JAWS table navigation commands, but they work on the tiles as well. So you could try Control Alt and then one of your arrow keys. If you use these keystrokes, you are prevented from accidentally moving to another group, because when you use the Alt in conjunction with your up, down, right, and left arrows, you will stay in the same group. So that's kind of a handy feature of JAWS. So JAWS will read the position of the tile in the group as well as the size of the tile. The tiles are in different sizes. The pinned items in the start menu are represented by tiles. They're like desktop icons, but they have other features. So like your Windows Store app tiles, they're called live tiles. And let's say that you have a news app, your tiles would update and contain the latest headlines. So you could just hurry and read the latest headlines of the news, and they will continue to update as the app updates. Tiles can have a few different sizes. There are actually 3 sizes of tiles. You have your small tiles, and these are size 1. Then you have your medium tiles, and these are size 2. And you have wide tiles, and they are size 2 and 1, and they're like a rectangle. Then you have your large tiles, and they are a square tile of size 4. By default, the tiles in the desktop are the desktop app tiles are medium sized. You can change the size of a tile by opening the context menu of the tile. So you focus on the tile, you press your Windows application key, and then you would arrow down to the size that you would like to change the tile to, and you would press enter. Now there is a really nice feature in Windows 10, and it's called pinning and unpinning items. And you can pin or unpin an item to your start menu, and it makes it really easy to access the item. So what you can do is, say that you are wanting to pin a file or a drive or a folder to your start menu that you use a lot. Let's say, for example, that I have a Windows 10 Outline 1 file that I'm working on right now. And so I would open up my start menu by pressing the Windows key. Then I would arrow down to File Explorer, and I would press enter to open File Explorer. Then in the File Explorer list, I would navigate with my down arrow to the Documents folder, and I would press enter to open it. And in the Documents folder, I would arrow down till I find the file called Windows 10 Outline 1. Now I don't open the file. I just focus the arrow key on it, press the Windows application key. This opens what's called the context menu for the file, and it gives you different options such as delete, save, rename, pin. And so I would go to the option that says either pin to start menu or pin to taskbar and press enter. Now, let's say I have a program that I use a lot that I would like to pin to my start menu. I would press my Windows key, and when I do this, I am focused in the All Apps list. I would arrow down to the program that I would like to pin, and I would just focus on that program. Don't push enter to open it, just focus your arrow on it. I would press my Windows application key, then I would arrow down to pin to start or pin to taskbar, and I would press enter, and that program or file or folder, whatever I click on, will be pinned to my tiles list in my start menu, so I can navigate to that in my tiles list. It's a great feature of Windows 10 because it allows you to access files and programs that you use in a regular basis a lot easier. Now I can unpin that too. Let's say I want to unpin my music folder from my start menu. So I could go to open up my start menu by pressing the Windows key. I could navigate with my down arrow till I find File Explorer in the All Apps list. I could press enter to open that, and then I could navigate with my down arrow to my music folder, and I would just focus on it. I wouldn't press enter, and I would press my Windows application key. I would arrow down to unpin from start menu, and then I would press enter. Now the same thing works with a program. You can unpin a program that way as well. Just open your start menu, find the program that you would like to unpin, press your Windows application key to open the context menu, and arrow down to unpin to start menu or unpin from taskbar and press enter, and that file will be unpinned. Now there's another way that might be a little bit easier for you to locate the file or folder that you would like to pin or unpin. And how you would do this is when you open your start menu by pressing the Windows key, you're placed in a search box. You could type the name of the folder, file, app, drive, or program in the search box, and then you would use your up and down arrow keys to navigate through the search results. And when you find the one that you want, you would just focus on it with your arrow key. You would again press your Windows application key to open the context menu, go down to pin or unpin from start menu or taskbar, and press enter. So I hope I did a thorough job in explaining how you can pin and unpin items to your start menu. You can also rearrange the tiles in your tiles list so that they will be easier to find. So there are some keyboard commands and that allow you to move between move your tiles around and rearrange them. These are all JAWS commands, and so you have to press the JAWS pass-through key. And these are actually the JAWS mouse commands, but they work for moving tiles. So you press the JAWS pass-through key, which is insert number row 3, before you press one of these keystrokes. To move a group, focus on the group header with your arrow keys and press Shift Alt plus up, down, right, or left arrow. So if you want to move the group up, you would do your up arrow, down, down arrow, right, you would press your right arrow, left, you would press your left arrow. Now, it's not very easy to move a tile in a group with JAWS. It doesn't give you very much feedback about where you're locating the tile or where it's being moved to. So I actually really don't recommend doing this. But if you want to mess with it, go ahead. You could try your Shift Alt up, down, right, and left arrow to move the tile around in a group if you want, like I said, but it may not be worth the challenge that it presents because it doesn't tell you exactly where the tile is being moved to. You can also rename a tile group. The first thing you need to do is navigate to the group header with your arrow keys. Then you need to press enter. Now your focus is in an edit box. If there is any existing text in the edit box, it is unselected, so you need to override that text. And first you need to select it by pressing Alt-A. This is the Windows command to select all the text. And then you can just go ahead and type in the new name and it will override it, or you can just backspace the text out if you prefer to do it that way. So after you typed in the text, you would press enter and the name of the new name of your group would be saved. And this is nice if you have a hard time finding a group because of its name. You can name it something that is more relevant to you to make it easier to find. And when you press enter again, the name will be saved and the edit box will be closed. Now I am going to talk a little bit more to you about using the context menus in apps. You can perform quite a few additional tasks in a context menu by simply focusing on the app with your arrow key and pressing the Windows application key and navigating through that list of options with your up and down arrow keys. I'm going to first tell you how to uninstall a Windows Store app. And remember, a Windows Store app is not a traditional Microsoft program like a desktop app. A Windows Store app is an app that you have installed to your computer yourself. And so you can uninstall these. So the first thing you would do is you would open your start menu. You would, in your apps list, you would arrow down to the app that you would like to uninstall, and then you would just focus on it with your arrow keys. Again, don't open it by pressing enter, just focus on it. Then you press your Windows application key, which brings up your context menu, and you would arrow down to uninstall, and you would press enter, and you'll be placed in a little dialog that says, are you sure you would like to uninstall this app? You can tab to the yes button and press enter. There's also an OK or a cancel button. And after you do this, then the app will be uninstalled, and you will no longer have it on your computer. So you need to make sure that it is an app that you actually want to uninstall. Don't focus on another app by accident, because it will remove it from your computer, and then you'll have to reinstall it. Now I'm going to talk to you in a little bit more about pinning an app to your taskbar. And again, these are things that you can do in the context menu of an app. So the first thing you would do in your apps folder, so you go to your start menu, navigate down with your down arrow in your apps list to the app that you would like to pin to your taskbar. Again, focus on it, do not open it. Press your Windows application key, arrow down to pin to taskbar, and press enter. If there's not a pin to taskbar in the context menu, then you would arrow to more. There's a more submenu, press enter there, and then you would arrow to pin to taskbar and press enter, and that item will be pinned to your taskbar. Now, to unpin an item from your taskbar, you would do the same thing. You would press your Windows key, and you would navigate through your apps list, you would press Windows T to go to your taskbar, and you would use your left and right arrows to navigate to the app that you would like to unpin. You would focus on the app, then you would press your Windows application key. You would navigate down to unpin from taskbar and press enter. Now I'm going to talk to you about how you can create a shortcut to a program or app on your desktop. The first thing you need to do is you need to open your start menu. You need to, in your apps list, select the app that you would like to create a shortcut to on your desktop. And then you would, with your arrow keys, then you would open the context menu by pressing your Windows application key, and you need to choose Open File Location. So arrow down to Open File Location. Now, if this option is not available, then you need to navigate down to the More submenu, and you need to arrow down to Open File Location and press Enter. And when you do this, your File Explorer opens the shortcut menu so that you can create a shortcut to your desktop. Now, what you need to do is, after you're in the shortcut that File Explorer has opened for you, you need to press your Windows application key, and you need to navigate with your down arrow to Send To. And this is another submenu in your context menu. You press Enter there, and in the Send To menu, you down arrow until you hear Desktop Shortcut and press Enter. Then you press Alt F4, and this will close File Explorer, and the shortcut will be created, and you will be able to navigate to this shortcut on your desktop. I did one for my power button on my computer so that I could just navigate to it really quickly on my desktop when I was shutting it down, and it makes it a lot easier to shut down your computer. Now I'm going to tell you how to create a keyboard shortcut or a hotkey for your desktop app that you've created a shortcut for. This means that you can just press the hotkey and that it will open the app or perform the command that you have set the shortcut for.
Chat head with 1.
If there's already a shortcut that's been created, you can open the Properties dialog in your context menu, and you can select Create a Desktop Shortcut. However, you do not have to have a desktop shortcut created to add a hotkey command to the app. Okay, so what you need to do is, first you need to press your Windows key. You need to navigate with your down arrow to through the apps in your apps list. When you find the one that you would like to create the keyboard shortcut for, you focus on it with your down arrow. Then you would press again your Windows application key to open that context menu. You would arrow down to Open File Location, and you would press Enter. If the Open File Location button is not available, then you need to arrow down to the More submenu and find the Open File Location button in there by down arrowing, and then you would press Enter to open it. And when you do this, you are opening where the shortcut is stored in Windows Explorer for that file location. So when you're in there, you need to press your Windows application key to open the context menu. Then you need to arrow down to properties and you need to press enter. And this is a dialog. Now remember, I told you that you'll find lots of controls in Windows, and this will be a dialog. And so you navigate through dialog, forward through the dialog by pressing tab, and backward through the dialog by pressing shift tab. You can't get lost. You will go in a circle. When you reach the end of the last button in the dialog, by pressing tab, you will go back to the first button. So you need to tab to the edit field in the properties dialog. When you locate it, you need to simply press the character of the shortcut key that you would like to add to the app. So your shortcut will be Control Alt plus the character that you selected. For example, mine would be Control Alt U for shutdown. So if I press Control Alt U and press enter, it will shut down my computer. So this is a really nice feature to be able to create a hotkey to shut down or restart your computer, or to open a specific app that you would like to open really fast. And then you need to either press enter or press spacebar, and this will save your shortcut and it will activate the OK button. Then you need to press Alt F4 to close out File Explorer. You can also create a shortcut on the desktop for Windows Store or desktop apps. So either apps that you have installed in the Windows Store or apps that are default traditional Microsoft programs that are already installed on your computer.
Chat head with 1.
So you can create a shortcut to a Windows Store app on your desktop. However, when you open and you can do this using the Start menu. However, when you open the context menu to the Start menu, which was the Windows key X, there is not a shortcut available here to create a Windows Store app shortcut on your desktop, but you can do this using File Explorer. So I'm going to go ahead and explain how to do this. Press Windows key plus E to open File Explorer, or you can press your Windows key and navigate down to File Explorer with your arrow keys in your app list and press enter. Either one of these will open File Explorer. Press Alt D to move to the address bar. you're going to have to type in a shortcut here. So when you press Alt-D, you are in the address bar of File Explorer, and this is the shortcut that I'm going to give you to type, and you need to make sure that you type it correctly with no spaces. It's SHELL colon A P P S F O L D E R. So after you do this, this tells Windows Explorer that you would like to create a shortcut to your apps folder. This is like the programming, the DOS command, computer lingo, if you will, to tell File Explorer that you would like to create a shortcut to your apps folder. And then you need to press enter. Now the items view contains an item for each of the apps in the apps list. Okay, so in the items view, which is navigated through a list, so you press up and down arrows to navigate to the item that you would like to create the shortcut for. Then you press your Windows application key and you navigate down to create shortcut. And a little dialog will come up and it'll say Windows cannot create a shortcut here. Do you want the shortcut to be placed on the desktop instead? So the yes button is the button that you'll be focused on in this dialog, and you can press enter here. So after you do this, then your shortcut will be created on the desktop. So as you can see, it is a little bit of a process, if you will, to create a shortcut to an app in your Windows. In your Windows store apps in your app folder to your desktop. But once you do it, it's really nice, especially if it's an app that you use all the time, because you can just navigate to that app in your desktop and find it really easy. Now I am going to talk a little bit more about the search box in the Start menu. So when you open your Start menu, as I've mentioned several times, by pressing the Windows key, you are placed in a search box. So you can use the search box to open apps and files, drives, folders, whatever you want on your computer, and it can also be used to give a request to Cortana for something that you're searching for. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that right now. So the first thing you do to open an app is you would press the Windows key. You're now focused in the search box. You're in an edit field where you can type. So type either part or all of the name of the app and press enter. And the app will open. You can type in like if you don't know how to spell the whole app name, you can just type in the first part of it, and then JAWS will announce as you type the best match for what you're typing. And when you hear the name of the app, file, or folder, or drive announced on your computer, you can just press enter and that app will open. So the search box can be used to open these categories or these items. First thing you can open, like I said, are your apps. So this includes all the apps, your App Store apps that you have installed, or your traditional Microsoft desktop apps that are already installed on your computer. The next thing you can open is your settings app. So just type in settings in the search box and then press enter, and this will open up all your control panel settings as well as your all your installed programs, your time, your date, your system settings for your updates. Anything that has to do with your settings will be displayed here, as well as your Cortana settings for the search box will also be displayed here. And also, if you're looking for a specific setting, you can also type that in the search box as well and press enter, and Windows will try to find the best match for that specific setting and open it for you. So it's kind of an easier, faster way to open your settings as well. You can also open your documents, music, and videos. So these are things that you would have in your personal users folder, and then in your documents, videos, music, or pictures folder, files that you have saved to your computer. You can again just type the name of the document, folder, or file that you would like to open, and Windows will find the best match, and you can navigate through the search results by pressing up and down arrow. When you find the one that you would like to open, just press enter there. Now you can also open folders, which would be all the folders in your personal folder. So you just type the name of the folder, Windows will find the best match, and JAWS will announce that to you, and you just press enter and that folder will open. And you can also open the store, so you can type just the word in the search box store, press enter, and the Windows App Store will be open. This is where you can buy and install apps, just like on a tablet. You can also find the web and open it there as well. In order to do this, you would just press your start menu in the search box. You could type in web, or you could type in Internet Explorer if you want to run your internet browsing session through Internet Explorer or Firefox, whichever internet program you prefer. You can also limit your search to specific categories.
Chat head with M1.
Sorry, I'm just trying to keep my camera from locking. It locks, then the recording will stop. I apologize for that. Now I'm going to talk about how you can search a specific category. So, as soon as you start typing in the search box on the start menu, it is replaced by the Cortana window, which is the search window. You can use either complete words or the beginning of words in the search box. So as you type characters or parts of words, JAWS will constantly update the search results depending on what you're typing. And each time you pause, you'll hear JAWS announce the next search options. And now when you type in words in the search box, you want to make sure, of course, that you space between them so that the computer knows what you're looking for. And when JAWS finds what you want, you just press enter to open it. So when you're in the search box, about only 12 of the results are announced, and the rest of them you have to go to the categories list to find the results. But you can navigate through the top results by pressing your up and down arrow keys if the one that you want isn't displayed right at the first. So you would, if the first item displayed in the list is not the one that you would like to open, and normally it is, especially if you have a pretty good name, the file name, or the program name, if you have that spelled correctly. But if not, then like I say, you can navigate down through the rest of the search categories with your down arrow and press enter on the one that you would like to open. Now, if you're typing in more characters and you're pressing your arrow keys, it does not move the focus of the cursor from the search box, so you can continue typing characters into the search box as you're navigating with your up and down arrow keys through the results. So most of the time you'll probably just want to open the item that you find, but as I was talking about a little bit earlier, you can access the options for the item in the item's context menu. And I just talked about those, like creating a shortcut or uninstalling a program. And in order to do this, instead of like actually pressing enter to open the app, you just navigate through it to it with your up and down arrow keys if it's not already displayed. Then you would press your Windows application key and navigate to the item that you would like in the context menu and press enter. For a file, you can open its location, which opens the file in the File Explorer menu, and it will be opened. So when you open the context menu for a file in File Explorer, JAWS doesn't always say that the menu is open, but when you press the Windows application key, you can still press your up and down arrow to see the options in the context menu, even if it doesn't say context menu. Sometimes JAWS doesn't announce the context menus in File Explorer. You can limit a search to a specific category. And there is 3 ways to do this, and I'm going to give you all 3 ways so that you can choose which way you like to use the best. For example, let's look for a file let's look for the music folder. The first thing you can do is use the filters list. So after you've typed in your search term, you can press tab 2 times, and this will take you to the filter list, and you can move between the items by using left arrow, and this will, every time you press left arrow, you'll move to the next item. They're displayed in a row. And right arrow, so left arrow again, sorry about that, will take you to your previous item, and right arrow will take you to your next item. So the list contains items that you would find in documents, web, or any other, like the music folder if you're looking for the music folder. Any folder really that you're looking for, and then it also has filtered results. So to filter an item for the document or the web or whatever you're looking for, move to the appropriate item that you're trying to filter, and then press enter. And this will select the filter, and JAWS will read the first item in the filter list for that particular folder. So it'll read, just like say you selected your music folder, it would just read the items in the music folder and nothing else.
Chathead with Amber Thomas Beigler.
To find results in other categories, you would move to the filtered item and you would press enter. So both of the filter list and the Regular lists are displayed with a category list, and you navigate this list by pressing up arrow as well as your down arrow. So your up arrow would take you to the previous item in the list, and your down arrow would take you to the next item. Then you would move to the item that you would like to open and press enter. Okay, so now the focus returns back to the search box, and JAWS will read the filtered items in the list. If you want to remove the current filter, you just press tab and the list will return to normal. So then you would move to the item, and let's say it says remove music filter, and you would just press enter there. You can also use the headings in your list of search results. As mentioned above, that I've talked about, you have the heading apps, and you could use one of the items to filter the app results. You can specify the category that you want in the search box. So let's say that you want to look for a document in a specific folder. So let's say you have a document called Windows 10 Outline. So you would put Windows 10 Outline, and you would press :doc, D-O-C, or you can press :document. And when you type the name followed by the colon and the file extension or the name of the folder where the file is located, it tells your computer that you want to open that file in a specific location. So as soon as you type any characters in the search box, then the start menu is replaced by the Cortana window. There's also a shortcut to open Cortana, and you can press Windows key S at any time, and this will open the Cortana or search window.
1.
It's called the Cortana window because it can be used to interact with the personal assistant Cortana, and it can also just be used for direct searches. And the Cortana window is a little bit above the taskbar, and it is divided into 2 columns. So first, you have a narrow column on the left side, and it displays the pages that can be displayed in the main page. So to select an item from this list, you'd press your enter, and this would select the item. Then you have the main column on the right hand side, and this contains the contents of the main page or the page that you have selected, and it's positioned directly above the search box. So when the Cortana window is open, the search box or microphone on the start menu become part of the Cortana window. So you can press tab and this will cycle you between the search box, the microphone button, and the names of the page name in the main column that you have selected. So the home page is a page that is displayed for search results, and or Cortana responses or information cards. Then you have notebook, and this would be a page for Cortana's notebook. So like the things that you've searched for would be in this notebook. And then you have a settings page which enables you to customize Cortana and search. And then you have a feedback page, and this page allows you to send feedback to Microsoft regarding your search experience, whether it was good or not. So Cortana is a personal assistant, and you can type your requests to Cortana, and if you have a microphone, you can speak them by tabbing to the microphone button and asking Cortana a question or anything. She's kind of like Siri on an iPad, basically. You can talk to her and ask her things. You can even ask her to tell you some jokes, and she does have a couple that are okay, I guess. Unfortunately, you will find that the requests are more useful if you speak. The problem with sometimes writing like a long request to Cortana, like a question, is that the Cortana commands, the Cortana software is the same software as the Microsoft Edge browser. So unfortunately, it's not very accessible with JAWS. I would rather ask Siri a question on my iPad than I would use Cortana, but if you have a Windows computer, you can kind of practice with it and play with it and see how much information you can actually get. So you could ask her like how to spell a word. You could ask her a phone number, maybe for a restaurant. You could ask her pretty much anything that you want. Now, to be able to respond to a lot of requests, Cortana's going to ask you for permission to access your personal information. Like if you're in a specific town where you live and you want to know the weather, then Cortana's going to need your permission to access your location so that she can give you accurate weather information for that location.
Chat head with Amber 1.
And in addition, for many requests, Cortana needs to have access your Microsoft account. But if you've signed into your computer with Microsoft, then she usually already has that information that she needs. So if she does ask you for permission, then you need to activate the yes button by pressing enter or tab, or spacebar. There are a couple ways that you can let Cortana know that you want to listen to or speak your request. And again, one of the ways to do this is to tap to the microphone button and activate it by pressing the spacebar or enter. Windows key plus C is the shortcut to the microphone button. And this will allow you to press the microphone button. However, in order to use the shortcut, you will have to enable it, and I explain how to enable a shortcut key when I talk about creating shortcut keys. So after the button is pressed, you'll hear a little beep or a little sound indicator that allows you that tells you that you can talk. But the problem with this is that JAWS is going to read the microphone button. So you want to press the control key to silence JAWS before you give your request.
Chat head with Amber 1.
Then you need to speak the request, and if Cortana can deal with this request, then the results will be displayed in the main column of the Cortana window, and she will read at least some of the reply. You may be able to tab to the main column, and you might be able to use your up and down arrows to read some of the contents. Now this is where the accessibility issue comes in. If Cortana cannot deal with your request, then she'll open the Microsoft Edge browser for you to search for your request online. And this is where the accessibility issue comes in, because the Microsoft Edge browser is not currently screen reader accessible, unfortunately. So this concludes this video, and I will share more of the Cortana information on my next video. So stay tuned and we will talk more about this. And I appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos. And you can leave me a comment if you would like. And I hope that you enjoy these and find this information helpful.
Unlabeled, but 1 hour 6 review 1 hour 16 minutes and 30 seconds. Review cancel button. Press shutter button. Chat head with it. Shutter. Review cancel. 1 hour 6 unlabeled but 1. Chat head. Shutter button. Review cancel button. Review 1 hour unlabeled button. 1. Unlabeled button. 1 hour 16. Review cancel button. 1 hour 17 minutes and 1 second. Review cancel button.